Hi, this is Dr. Darnise coming to you with a follow-up about the commentary I did on Beyonce and bringing the African traditional religious practices into common conversation. I'm so happy to see that Beyonce did that with Lemonade when she gave us a little snippet, little homage to Oshun, an African deity from the Ifa tradition. And as I mentioned in that video, I was so worked up. One, I was happy to see her do it. Two, I was worked up because of people's response that it was somehow wrong or bad or evil. Because people don't know about African traditional religion. African people in the New World, Black people don't know, right? We've been so thoroughly indoctrinated by the European colonizer that we don't recognize our own traditional religion. And more than that, we're jumping on the bandwagon to call it evil. So I'm a religion scholar, and that just set my teeth on edge, as they say. So I had to make a video and comment on it. Otherwise, it's not camera. So this is another part of that series. I'm not sure how many I'm going to do, but I just realized there's a whole lot of um, religion that people don't know. People tend to know, if they know anything about religion, they know their own little snippet of it. They know the church they've been going to. They know what their mother told them, their grandmother told them, but they don't know anything broad about religion. They don't even know their own Christian history if they're Christian. They don't know anything about it. Some people don't know Jesus was Jewish. So again, that might be for another conversation, but I just wanted to kind of continue from that Beyonce Lemonade Oshun conversation and talk about African traditional religion in the New World and give you a specific example of what I am talking about when I say it's African traditional religion in the New World. Now, when I teach this in my class, I teach African American religious history. It takes maybe 3 classes before the students really can grasp what I'm talking about. That's how far removed we are as contemporary Americans from the idea of African people having their own religions. We're so far removed from it to think that, oh, it could have been legitimate religion and it wasn't just idol worship or something crazy. So by the time they're college age and they're in my classroom, there's a bit of resistance that I have to get over to even teach it, for them to even receive the content. Because what's been given to everybody is that voodoo is evil and bad. So anything that's remotely associated with that, with voodoo, you should not be, you should not get involved with. And then that's reinforced by the different movies that we have that show people who practice voodoo as putting spells on people, using voodoo dolls and sticking pins in them, sensationalized for a movie and to further bring home the point that voodoo is something evil. Well, what we have to know, like I said before in another video, don't be afraid of the African. So to give you a specific example of how this happens in the world, African people were brought to this country as slaves, right? That's not news. But African people were brought to different parts of the New World, the United States, the Caribbean, South America. Depending on who the colonizer was who brought that group of Africans and where they landed, that shaped the way those African people would live. It would shape their language, it would shape their religion, it would shape their culture. So those African people who were brought on slave ships to Haiti, they were brought by French Catholic Europeans, right? How do you know that just off the top of your head? Well, what language do they speak in Haiti? They speak French because the French brought the Africans. Just like in the United States, we speak English. Why? The British brought us and we speak English, right? So those African people who ended up in Haiti were taken there by the French speaking, well, they were French speaking Catholics. And those slaves were given Catholicism. Of course, they were told, don't practice that religion, if they would even have called it that, don't practice that idol worship or that pagan or heathenish stuff that you were doing in Africa. Now I'm going to give you real religion, and that's my Catholicism. So stop doing that, which you grew up with for generations, and take on this, because this is right religion, the Catholicism of that time. So the African people, in order to survive, they received that Catholicism, but they mixed it. You can't help but mix it, because what's already within you is your own culture, your own religion. So they said, this is similar to what I knew back home. This idea of the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, that's three gods. In my tradition, we have the Loa. It's many gods. If you ask a Christian, do you believe in three gods, or how many gods you believe in? Christian will tell you one, even though you count three: Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Christian will tell you we believe in one God. Okay, so somebody who's practicing African traditional religion will say, yeah, we understand there's one creator, but we have different ways that we can go to the creator, or we can have different natural forces that we recognize. Oshun being one that Beyonce gave tribute to in Lemonade. Oshun being one of the Loa. So there's an understanding in the African worldview that the multitude are still a reflection of the one. Just like Christians say, oh, there's three, but there's really one. Now, it might not really make rational sense, but from a faith perspective, people understand it within their own tradition. So the French-speaking Catholics gave their slaves their Catholicism. Those Africans in slavery received it. They mixed it with what they already had. And we come up with voodoo, which got called the bastardized term voodoo, which we know as voodoo, which we think of as something negative. It's not religion, it's black magic, which we got to get rid of that term, black magic. How come everything bad has to be black? Right? Why can't it be white magic, if we want to use those kind of terms? But that's another conversation. So we have been drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak. We've been believing it still. Oh yeah, voodoo is bad. Voodoo is bad. Voodoo is evil. It's black magic. Black magic is bad. We got to wake up from that. We got to wake up from that, as I said in my last video too. So that's just to give you a little snippet and an example of what I mean when I say African people came to the New World and mixed their own religion with what they were given. So Vodun is one example of those African people who were brought to Haiti, and they were brought by the French Catholics, and that's how they mixed together the religion to get Vodun. It's the African in the New World, in Haiti specifically. Then some of those people were brought to Louisiana. You know, anything about Louisiana culture is very much mixed with the French culture. Right? Again, those French Catholics and those African people. Another example is those African people who were brought to Cuba by Spanish Catholics. Don't they speak Spanish in Cuba? Spanish Catholics brought them. Same thing those Africans did. They mixed the African with the Spanish Catholicism. And we find this all over the New World. United States, Caribbean, South America, all over. Same formula, really, but it's different in the particularity depending on what country you're in and what culture. But essentially, African people mixed together with Christianity. So I'm going to leave it there with that one example. Again, leave me a comment. Let me know what questions you have. Some other kind of religious kind of questions you want me to cover. There's so many things that I would rather hear what people have a curiosity for and would appreciate knowing more about. So on that note, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to hear more about. And that's all. Bye for now.